Part two on the Ram 1500, the Hemi to 5.7, the 65 RFE transmission change. The first one I was just saying a quick little advice on what to do. Sorry, I'm just crawling underneath here. Oh, okay. Can you see that? I don't know how you. Oh, there. That's a little better. Okay, so it's hanging now, as you can see. There's a mount that goes on here. You'll have to take that off. It screws on here, and your tranny bolts. We had a little delay there. The transmission actually came with the dowel pins. You see them? And I got stage 3 Parkinson's, and cognitively I'm starting to suffer a little bit, and I didn't think to check for them, so we put it in place, and it wouldn't go in, right? Well, obviously those are a bugger to take those things out, but we did get them out. We ended up using a pipe wrench and an air chisel, and worked them back and forth, and they came out. A little bit of heat, and it came out, but you need to be really careful. You do not want to mar this surface at all. Like the bell housing, this cast aluminum stuff. Your transmission pump's going to start acting up if this mating surface doesn't work properly. What I did was to help us to hold it in place. The diff between the diff and the frame here, I put a 2x4, and it went up here and it held it nice. And is it dark? And I put the rear cross member in here, just temporary. I don't know if you can see it right there. See, just temporary to hold it. So now we're just to the, well, I got to put the torque converter bolts in if you've never done it before. Once you take this mount off, I don't know if you can see it any better from here. Right here. But you want to ensure when you put this in that before you start buttoning it up, like putting all your connectors and everything in, make sure that your torque converter is spinning, okay? Because if it's not spinning, and in this one, it's a slightly different torque converter with the 65. So it's gonna push a little bit harder, right? But make sure it's not seized, because if it's not turning, you know you're binding, all right? Then back it off, because you're gonna have problems, right? Obviously, I can explain those problems to you if you want, but point is, you put your torque converter bolts through here, and those are these little guys right here, right there, all those. No, not those. These little guys right here. Okay, those will go in there. They're 14 millimeter. It was much easier when we took the transfer case off, because we took it all out in one piece. I put it back in just without it. Yeah. So there's no donut gaskets, to let you know if you don't know. It's just the metal on metal to the header, or to the that's what he wants in here, is headers. To the manifold. I changed the manifold over here. There was a broken bolt, so we did that. There was a leak. Yeah. So that's about it for part 2. Yeah. What was I was sorry, I stuttered a little bit too. This is my last transmission I'm doing in the backyard. Oh, the cross member. It was a little bit tough getting back in, because once it was released, the frames actually separated a little bit. It was a half a bolt hole completely out. So if it does go in a proper way. Like, I think if you have the slot, can you see them? If you have the slots down, like this part, right? I'll show you. These here, they're not on the other side. So as long as those are down, then you're okay. You have it situated the right way. Well, I don't know if right and left matters. You can find that out. If you do, let me know. Yeah, so now it's just, it's hanging. I got the bolts in. And then we do the connections and stuff. So, and then I'll do a final video on the last part. Yeah, so if you have any questions or anything, or I'll help you out. So, thanks.